Right. So let me run through this again quickly so that we can move into more discussions and question answers. So the Aarohi started as an open learning community in 2008, and the whole. If you ask me what is open learning, I think these three words kind of sum it up. It's about interest, it's about passions, it's about possibilities. Finally, that's what I guess life is all about. What I like doing, whom I like to be with, where I like to go, where I like to live, and so on and so forth. And there are so many possibilities in this beautiful world. Now, if we take this and go on to thinking about youth when they start moving towards the whole space where they want to now move into professional life, and not just from an earning perspective. I think earning is a smaller thing, but from the joy of doing something, adding value to the whole world. And I think that's the real thing about CoVersity. It's not so much about earning. I think will automatically happen when we start adding value to the world. And that's something that we see in these teenagers, in these youth. They have so much desire to do something out there. And that's what has really brought together this whole concept of a CoVersity, where they get together, these youth, they kind of facilitate each other, and they start doing work for the world kind of thing. And obviously there's always support and all that, but the whole idea is, how do I, in the whole process of going out to the world, how do I develop myself? So one example is Asavri. She's my daughter, actually 23 years, is 1 year older. So it's now she's 24. And she has had many interests, from dance to art to facilitation to environment to sustainability. And so lots of different interests. She's one who keeps on changing interests, but keeps on doing different things in different interests. Even as of today, at 24, she has a lot of interest. But one of her interests, she has converted it into a business. And she has a brand of her own called Dhanak Naturals. And she makes and sells personal care products out of stuff which is natural, as in no chemicals, but natural plants and herbs. So that's what she does. The reason I put her example up front is that her journey is very interesting, because it's not about one passion, it's not about one interest, it's not about just doing one thing. Even as of today, she does multiple things, and that's like, I think, in a way, celebrating life in her way. That one doesn't need to get locked up in this whole thing that, oh, I have to become only this, or only I have to become somebody. She's not at all into becoming anybody. She's just into enjoying things that she likes doing. And obviously she earns also out of it. So that's the whole perspective. So it's about discovering oneself, CoVersity, Aarohi CoVersity, and it's about growing professionally. Yeah, I like that term better rather than becoming a professional, but growing professionally. What that means is, we all know the kind of skills that a professional needs, the kind of expertise that one needs to add value to the world. Another example of a journey which has many interests is Kanda. He's 17. Again, lots of different interests, but in each interest, he tries, he explores, he builds it. How do I do this? How do I do that? And so on. And right now he has last almost 1.5 years, he has been totally focusing on fitness. So he's a fitness trainer. He's already a certified fitness trainer, already earning money since last 1.5 years. For people who always keep asking, how do open learners earn money? Well, I will say not how they earn money, but they start earning money much earlier than many think, right? They start earning at 16, 17, because they simply go out and in fact, now he's working on setting up his fitness business. So he's looking at it in a much bigger way. The core of CoVersity and open learning is that I decide, I do, and I reflect. That's the cycle, and which means it has to start by the youth, and because it's their interest, they do that. One example is Srijani. She's 16 years old. She likes baking, cooking. So she keeps coming up with different challenges for herself. Just to give you a very small example, last week she decided every day she will whip different kinds of creams. and put it on all kinds of things. So it was crazy the amount of cream she would have made in a week, but that's the kind of I decide I do that is happening. And already she has done documentation of what happened when she reduced this, increased that, tempered with this, tempered with that. So that's the kind of reflection and the learning that she is doing. The other big deal about CoVersity is to have a cohort of or a group of like-minded, like similar journey people. They could all be in their own domain or interest, but because they're all together, there's a lot of pushing, pulling, helping, supporting, and obviously chilling out, which we must learn from these youth. So yeah, that's what they do together. Another example is Drupad. He's my son. He's 18 years. But apart from being very focused in football, he also likes to connect with non-footballer cohort members whom he can get a lot of support, both emotional, social, as well as even physical sometimes. Like he's connected with Skanda, and Skanda helps him with his fitness. So that's one example. Yeah. The conventional approach is typically first learn, then based on that learning, you go how to work. But at CoVersity and in open learning, we turn it upside down. We say, why do we first need to learn? Why don't we just start working? And the working will lead to learning automatically. So what these youth do is they look for professional projects, they look for internships, they're always looking for something which can add value to the world, and that will make them learn. One example is Shreya. In fact, I have updated it on my status, where she's talking about how she wanted to learn something, but to learn that, instead of learning it, she took up a project which will automatically make her use that. So that's the approach. I take up a project which will automatically make me use what I need to learn, and then I will automatically learn. So that's how they go about doing it. Yeah. And finally, we talk about support. Yes, there's a lot of supports. The support comes primarily from buddies, as in the other youth. It comes from the guides which includes parents and other guides in the community, and also the rest of the community. And obviously a lot of mentors. Mentors are typically experts in the fields who are out there, who may not be part of the Aarohi community, but the beauty is that a lot of people are very supportive to these youth who are doing the journey. In fact, our strike rate is literally 100%. Whomever we ask, can you support this youth who is interested in the same field as yours? The answer is always yes. So that's the beauty of, I would say, human beings. So yeah, one such example is Krishiv. He's actually now 16. He has, although he keeps saying I'm a very shy person, but whenever he asks somebody that can you be a mentor to he's into graphics and animation, and invariably he has found an answer yes. So he has found multiple mentors for himself, right? Okay, final thing. How do you grow? How do you grow in your field? You grow using your own, showcasing your work. And the work comes in the form of a portfolio. So each child would make their own portfolio. Here's one example portfolio of a girl called Shrishti, and she's into writing. So she has put all her writing work there. And what you do with the portfolio is not just it helps you reflect, assess how is your journey going, but it helps you get more and more work. And that becomes your certificate as your portfolio size keeps fattening and fattening. So that's how the certification happens. The portfolio becomes the certificate. Yeah. So that's the basic thought process of CoVersity. We can pause here and see if there are any thoughts or questions here. And if anybody wants to specifically know about how on a day-to-day basis how CoVersity work, I can talk about that in a little while. But let's just first stop here and little discuss if there are any thoughts or questions.
So one of my cousin, he is like doing his +1, like in Andhra Pradesh. So for kids like that, do you support remote learning virtually or the CoVersity if they don't want to come to the campus?
Not really, no. Because they need to do, see, the CoVersity is different because they would be doing intense projects, and that really can't be done remote, as in then the whole, then it's all onto them. Then they're hardly part of the CoVersity, right? So the real thing is to come here, be with the cohort, because that's a very important part. That's why it's called CoVersity. It's the togetherness of these youth who are together, and then, the energy among them. So that then goes missing. So yeah, no, we are not doing this remotely. CoVersity is a reasonable amount of time you are at the campus doing stuff, and then some amount of time you do internships, apprenticeship. That could be in any city, including your hometown.
Okay.
Yep, more. And you don't need to have a question only with respect to CoVersity. In general, within the sphere of open learning, if you have questions or thoughts about the professional part or the journey of how does one go about doing this or that and so on, we can discuss that. No issues. It's not like only CoVersity talk we will do. People are thinking. So let me talk a little more. So what we have seen is, especially when children are around 13, 14, 15. So let me talk first about that age group, because it's a very exciting age group. Um, uh, when they kind of roughly in that age group, I'm not saying it has to be only 13, 14, 15. It could happen a little early. It could obviously happen later. But what typically happens in that, by the time they reach that age, especially if they've been open learning, but even if they've been otherwise, that they want to start doing bigger things, as in not just happy with just, exploring here and there, but they want to see it out in some form. Yeah, out there into the world. It's not enough to make few YouTube videos. I should have 10,000 subscribers, So the whole focus changes from just doing things for the fun of it to taking it out to the world and making it big or doing it big. And that is the first propelling energy for them to automatically develop themselves, because when they take up these bigger projects, when they say, okay, this is what I want to do with whatever I have the expertise in. Now, this whole process of doing these, I'm just using the term big projects. These could be paid projects, unpaid but client projects, or self-made projects, also self-created projects. But any which way, and it doesn't even matter whether the project is successful or not so successful. What really develops is the professional me, or the individual grows bigger because of the big project, because it just doesn't require the expertise or the skills of a particular domain. It requires a lot of other things. It requires networking, it requires researching, it requires application, persistence, quality, and so on and so forth. I'll give you one example. One boy was into carpentry, and then he got the idea from an uncle of doing things with coconut shells. And obviously we make a lot of these coconut chutneys and coconut this and coconut that. So we had these lot of coconut shells at the campus. So he said, okay. And he started working with those coconut shells, and he started making these soap dishes and different kind of basically artifacts, which are useful artifacts, which people can use at their homes. But soap dish was his most popular item out of the different things. And initially they were just a little crude, not so good looking and so on. But he worked on it. He figured out how to do the grinding, how to do the polishing, which oils to use and so on, obviously with guidance as well as his own experimentation. And very soon he was ready that I just don't want to make more. I want to make more and sell them. So I think that trigger from just making this because he enjoys doing it to selling them brought a whole lot of intensity in him. Then you will find him even at 9 o'clock in the night doing grinding with his sandpaper or with the grinding machine and so on, trying to get the right quality, right end product, because if he has to sell it, it has to be there, and his skills and his thinking has to be there. And that wasn't the end of it. Now you have to market it to people, you have to save, you have to find the pricing, the right pricing. So first exhibition he took part, he thought his pricing was too low. Everything was sold off, but then he hardly got anything in his pocket. And then he got wiser. Then he went to market, found out different things. So I'm telling this example not to show that about him, but what it did to him is his whole experience of doing that. Not that he's not doing carpentry anymore, by the way. But that's not important. But this, because it became a big project, which extended almost 3 months, actually, or maybe even more. I don't really remember. But it was kind of, it took all of his mind space and time space, and that depth brought something out of him. Now he was much more ready to take on different things in different areas. So he switched his interest, he went into some other field, and that's fine. But that is what was really the difference. And like that, I mean, I can share many more stories, but I hope you get the idea that by this age, they start yearning for in some ways, or even if they're not saying it out, but when we put them into bigger projects, they kind of enjoy that. Because now, like, it's a real challenge, it's a real responsibility. So that's something that CoVersity thrives on, is that them taking on their own bigger self by doing bigger things. So I just thought I can share that. And that happens at that age, and then there's no looking back. Once they are getting into this, then they don't want to do anything else but do what they like doing and take up whichever domain, but they want to take up bigger and bigger stuff. Yeah, so that's one. On any thoughts, any other questions about this age group?
Yeah, but kids like the mind, right? You start something and then you go to something, your interest always changes. So my experience about that was lack of that stability or focus. We always find interesting things. Of course, we always keep learning. But as long as it is self-sustainable or if they're earning with that, I don't mind that. So that was why my question was more about, are they self-sustainable or not?
Oh,
They're
yes,
still
that's
living with
what
the parents.
if you're talking in terms of money, yeah, they are self-sustainable much before the world is ready for, the most of the others are, because see, they're doing work out there in the world. I was giving example of Shreya, she's 18, but for the last 1.5 years, she's already been earning doing design projects. So she's into designing. And because she's doing client-based project, and that's her way of learning, she's already been earning. Yeah. Okay. Maybe not earning like huge amounts of monies, but that's just the beginning. And that too at 17, 18, we're talking about another 2-3 years, and she would already be fully into the field. So that's the beauty of it. And even if there is no hurry, so a lot of in some cases there's no hurry to earn money, but more of getting deeper into the skills. And so I think they are self-sustainable, not because they can do, not because they are already doing something, but because they are now capable and polished enough from inside to be able to do anything which can give them financial sustainability whenever they need it or want it. Yeah, because the kind of skills we're talking about, just the skills to apply yourself, just the skills to or not just the skills, the awareness to know how the world works, how things happen, networking, getting things done, so on. There are so many things. So that is what I think, what I call as work skills. Those are the real work skills. Then whichever field you go in, if you already know how to find something, do deep research, then you will find it out. There's no big deal. Okay. Anybody else? If you have any question, we can take that.
Ratnesh,
Yeah.
I think with multiple interests, we can also say it's not that if we have multiple interests that all have to convert into a professional earning space. It can also be like what Prashant says, it can be my pet project,
Yes, absolutely.
So if I'm diverting, then
No,
maybe.
not at all. Not at all. That's why I somehow the word professional somehow ends up meaning that you have to earn everything out of it. But yeah, a lot of things that you get the freedom and the space to do could be just your pet projects or pet or whatever you can call it, hobbies or whatever you want to call it, things that you like doing. Absolutely. And I think that's far more important than we give them the importance of. So yeah, thanks for bringing that in. And that's actually true for a lot of even younger children, whether they are at 6 or 7 or Kiara age of 11, 12. I think that's Selvam's daughter is also 12. So I think that's the beauty. Somehow we have somewhere concluded that you have to do only X, Y, Z, and only then you can live in this world. But the beauty of the world is that you can just do what you like doing, and that itself can take you not necessarily in terms of earning, but it can take you in terms of your own growth, so that you are then ready for the world. And then you can figure out where and how you want to earn money and where and what you want to do with your passion. Whether they can be the source of income or they can be two things that you do, so that one part is my passion, one part is my business, or however permutation combination that people can figure out.
Or even all of them can be your income source. I'm bringing in another angle also.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
That's what Drupad keeps telling me. What, Dad, you have only one source of income. You are so old-fashioned. So people are already thinking of multiple sources of income. Next generation would be like that only, Preeti.
Yeah, so like even Mishti, if you see 10-year-old, she has 6 interests and she is earning out of all of those interests by creating workshops of it. So
yes, absolutely.
That's how it is.
That's also a good point. Multiple sources of income. I wanted to ask if Aarohi does any like MBTI or personality-based profiling, and then finding out what the person is more like, and then
Pradeep, you don't
moving the
need it
business.
when you are in open learning. You might need it when you are in a system which is only focusing on XYZ or ABCD rather. But you don't need, I don't even know what is MB, whatever you said that term. I don't even know that.
Like
We don't
personality
even,
type.
yeah, we don't need that. Preeti, what do you say? I think her audio is frozen. Maybe she's driving. Okay, so we'll not
Yeah,
bother
I'm
Preeti
driving.
right now. Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah, no. You
No.
focus on the road, dear. Yeah. So yeah, I think we don't need it because each one is anyway living out of his personality. So automatically what his or her skills are, capabilities are, it's like whatever the test will show, this person is living that every single day. And so there is absolutely no, you can say no need to do that.
So, Pradeep, I'm aware of that test. Actually, it is done by fingerprints and all of that. And then finally, a lot of conclusion is taken out of that. So, so it is also what Ratnesh said, it is actually part of system wherein you need certificates all around you. So in open learning, there is no certificate in terms of somebody else giving certificate. Basically, it is self-driven certification process where we do everything based on our own liking and our own passion, and we develop ourselves in such a manner that we ourselves become a certificate. So um, so we don't need that test to be done. And it is like astrologer ke paas jaake haath dikhane wala baat, if we get it that way.
Yeah, please focus on the driving. I'm so scared of it.
Yeah, yeah, Preeti, you can
ड्राइव
take it
करते
easy.
वक्त अच्छा दिमाग चलता है.
Yeah, no, just don't look at phone. You can talk as much as you want to. Absolutely. Yeah, meanwhile, anybody else has any more thoughts, any questions? So this is obviously an open kind of meetups. It depends on what questions and thoughts you have. And if you don't have any questions and thoughts, we can go on to the next meetup next Saturday. Yeah, but the invitation is that you can keep coming, keep asking, or keep hearing, keep listening, whatever helps you. And you can also come to the campus visit, stay, which we were talking to Selvam, and I think somebody was suggesting that, sorry, Dwiji, Pranav was suggesting that that's one way to introduce yourself and your family to this whole idea of open learning. When you come and stay for a week, that's the time you really get the idea of, okay, so this is how it is, because you see other people doing it, the children, the adults, and not just that, you see them, you actually do it for that 1 week. You step out of whatever else you were doing in your life and do something totally, or rather in a total different environment. So then you get the idea. So, yep. So stay visit is something which is there on a calendar in our website. You can register there. Let me drop the links also here for people who may want to know that. So the idea is you look up the calendar. Not every visit is available for visiting. You can see which weeks are open and then plan your travel accordingly. There's a registration form which you can fill up. So I'm just posting the links. I posted both the day visit and the stay visit link, though I would personally not recommend the day visit. I would say come and stay over. Before that, get all your questions answered in the meetups. And then, yeah, then you can come. So cool. So if there are no more questions, we can pause for today. And as I said, we are there every Saturday. So please feel free to join in and engage in more conversations. Yep. Okay, it's nearing 6:30. That's a good time to pause, round figure. Okay, so thank you then. And we'll see some of you in campus. We will see some of you in more meetups. And if you also need connections with other families whom you can go and meet and connect with, that's also a lot of Aarohi families are very open to talking to other families who are just starting or wanting to start or any other support we need. So it's not like that we are a closed community, we're a very open community. Most of the families are very supportive of other families. So feel free to ping us on the WhatsApp. I think Pranav posted the Aarohi WhatsApp number, and we'll see how we can support you. Yep.
Sorry,
Okay.
my camera was on. I didn't realize that.
No problem, Preeti. Okay, so